Good morning, everybody. How we doing today? Sorry I couldn't be there. I wish I could have been, but I'm up north in Eagle River. As you can see, the beautiful trees. There's a piece of land back there with some water there too, but all good. Anyway, I'm going to be speaking with you guys pre-recorded today about influence and the power of it and the importance of it and how I think about stuff when it comes to what I want to put out to the world and how I try to present myself. So we'll see how this works. And if at some point you guys have questions, I'll be back. I'll see you guys in Olean for most of you. And I'm sure these guys are capable of explaining everything else that if you have questions about this, they can talk about this. But I have a PowerPoint to make this slightly easier too. So let's cover that. Okay. Here we go. Okay. So when I think about the job, I think about what are the things that attracted you to the position initially? Was it the actual job? Was it the product? Or was it the person presented it to you? I really believe in trying to make it about the person on our side of the table to sell the position, not the job itself. Uh, you know, I think that's a big deal. I think I can sell myself a lot better than I can sell something on the internet. They might read about the position, so I want them to buy into me. Um, and when you were initially attracted to it, was it the job opportunity that could do something for you, or would it be, when you think about it, why would someone be interested in the position? These are things I think about often, and so I try to create these things with how I present myself and how the office looks and everything else. So we're gonna go next slide here, right? So one of the things you'd want to focus on when talking to someone potentially to work here, you should write some things down, but I know you can see the screen, so here you go. Um, why were they recommended? I think building rapport is pretty huge. You want to try to find commonality, versus trying to be their friend, which is a difference, right? You don't want to necessarily be someone's friend, but you want to find out why they're similar and be kind of indifferent, but find commonalities, right? I think most of the world could do a better job of this, and I think this is the skill set of a manager and really anyone in influence is to find the commonality between you and that person. When you really think about it, probably 98% of our lives are the same, but we have a tendency to fixate on the 2% that's not, and that's how we go, well, we're not the same. Really, we are. It's a matter of finding those things and asking questions to pull that stuff out. After you do that, I think a lot of that stuff is taken care of if they feel like that they would fit in because the person that's interviewing them is like them or they want to be like them. It makes it pretty simple. So we're going to kind of go through this stuff in a second, but why would they be a good fit? Danny's an expert at that, kind of asking questions during the pre and then in the post, kind of laying it out so he knows how to position that. So the position is is just about for anybody. Why it's a good opportunity, how they are similar to the person speaking to them, and then they should at least check it out because it's worthwhile. All right. What are the selling points? I think selling points are the flexibility. They get paid for their ability versus their time, which is I think a really undersold concept. Potential internships if going to school for marketing or communications or business, potentially scholarships. I don't sell that one as high because honestly most people aren't going to qualify for that. I know we could, but I'm not hard selling that most of the time. Time management. There's no minimum wage, which is pretty cool because why would you be paid for as little as possible? There's no car needed anymore, which is a pretty dope part of this position, and you can become a person of influence. What are the things you'd want to avoid talking about? How awesome the product is. Again, I think when you make it about the product, I think it makes it really easy to be like, I don't want to sell knives, right? Well, no one does. It just happens to be that after you start doing it, it's actually relatively easy. That would not be what I would lead with or base my argument on. Much of any convo about look, in our office, we actually don't even show the product anymore because I don't feel like it's necessary. So you definitely could do that, and that's something that people have done a lot in the past. I just don't feel like it's as necessary as it maybe used to have been, the way we position it. I think the words you actually want to avoid throughout the interview process and just the job is selling, right? Versus instead of saying selling something, I would say showing, right? I went to school for marketing, but marketing is a bad word for some people. So I just try to avoid, or I just try to eliminate words that might stimulate a negative response. And I feel like these three words are the words I try to eliminate as much as possible. Selling, marketing, and knives. I never say stuff. I don't say we sell knives. Unless I don't want someone to work here, I would probably say we sell stuff for the kitchen. It's mostly pots and pans and kitchen cutlery and other stuff like that. Mostly food preparation tools. That's my response. Things to keep in mind. The way the job was presented to you made you decide to try it. When you think about this, when you've talked about the job in the past to your friends and they said that's weird, I would never want to do that, it's probably more or less how you presented it. Because when you think about it, when it was presented to you by a manager, you decided it was a good fit, you should do it, and you probably even had to argue with people like your parents that it was a good opportunity. What if it would have been presented the same way? If the job would have been presented the same way as it was to you, do you think your friends maybe would be working here with you? Maybe they would, maybe they wouldn't, and that's okay. But I would also, the question I also think of often is, what does success look like to our blue chip recruits? I think applicants come in skeptical a lot of the time, and they're looking for anything to confirm those beliefs. So we want to not give them an opportunity to confirm those beliefs with what they see and what they feel during the interview process. So I'm going to go into a little bit a deeper dive of more about how you can position this so you create a good environment. So your physical, I call it attraction, or not necessarily like how you look, but more about like the way you want to influence somebody. I think how you dress does influence that. So let me give you an example. When you see this guy on the screen, what are the words that come to mind when you see this guy? What emotions does this image create for you? Actually, ladies, gentlemen, go ahead and just write down an emotion that comes with this image, because if we're aware of it or not, like when we see something, there is an emotional connection to it, right? So just write it down. I'll give you guys 10, 15 seconds. Actually, go ahead and share them. Who wants to volunteer? Yep, you in the front. Okay, go ahead. All right. Cool. And let's look at this guy. What are the words that come to mind when you see this guy? What emotions come to mind or you feel when you see this guy? Are they different feelings? I'm going to take that as a yes. Your silence, I'm going to take as a yes. Yes. Well, the fact is, the same guy, right? So how you dress and how you look does make a difference in how people perceive you. So to go off on that, right? Look, the world, we've evolved from people and creatures of primitive beings to make things as safe as possible for us. So we can't process everything, so we stereotype. Once you just accept that you're being stereotyped, it's time to take control of the stereotype and use it to your advantage. Why do we dress the way we dress for business, right? Because this is supposed to be one of our best present. Sorry, there's a weed whacker or some kind of blower in the background, so hopefully that's not coming up too thickly through the audio here. But anyway, once you understand that you can control how people feel about you by the way you dress, that makes a difference, right? So let's do this. You should decide who you are. Your personal brand needs to be based on the real identity and what appeals to you. Branding only works if it has strong roots and there's truth in it. So if you wanted to go buy $1,000 suit, right, you could do that. But the fact is, if you're not going to follow through with a lot of those things, that makes no sense. Dressing yourself a certain way matters, but only if it is actually who you are. So just, I would take some time, and I've taken time over the last 10 years to think about this. Take some time to self-reflect and figure out what you're really like as a person, how you want people to perceive you, because people are constantly making judgments about you based on how you look, right? That first impression, but also how you follow through with that, because you might present yourself really well initially, but if your character is flawed, which we all are to some degree, but if it's a bad flaw, you might have that initial attraction, but it's not going to last very long. Okay, so you can't just decide you want to be charming, good looking, and life of party. It needs to be based on your real identity. So let's proceed to the next slide. Dress the part. I think you want to look for visual cues, in other words, that similar message that you want, right? So when I think about attracting the right kinds of people, they dress and act a certain way. I think about, like, what does their mom or dad look like if they're successful, right? How do they dress? How do they talk? How do they speak? What are those things that they're saying? Because those are already in their minds what success looks like, right? Or someone that's maybe a celebrity or out in the world, like, what do they look like? What do they sound like? What do they talk like? Right? That's what I want to be consistent with it, because it's hard to kind of beat that. So first thing, boys, look, fit is king. How your clothes fit you does matter. There's a bunch of different fits. We're not going to get into this right now, but you can see the difference between someone that looks like, I don't know what you want to call it, floppy and untucked and kind of baggy, right? When you can get a shirt that fits properly, it says a lot without saying anything. So that's the first rule. Boys in the hood. Second thing, invest in a good pair of shoes. I really believe strongly in Allen Edmonds, but that's just me or Magnani's when the company gives it to you for a P banquet. Square-toed shoes, don't wear them. They're not cool. They haven't been cool in 10 years. They're not. They're not stylistic. Make sure you're polishing your shoes. If you've never polished a pair of shoes before, learn how. It's not very complicated, or go pay someone to do it. It costs probably $5 if you want someone else to do it. But get it done. Invest in some good shoes. They'll last you a long, long time. I bought a pair of Allen Edmonds, I think back in 2002 or 3, my first summer with Vector. I still have them. They still look like they're in pretty good shape. So anyway, invest in a good pair of shoes. Right, ladies? Third thing, keep it simple. Less is sometimes more, especially when you pull it off flawlessly, right? You might have a bunch of things that you think look good, but if you try to put them all together at the same time, chances are you're going to be sending too many signals at one time, and they're going to kind of cannibalize each other. So when I think about style icons, I think about people like Ryan Gosling and James Bond. Man, James Bond doesn't wear a T-shirt. I'm not going to wear a T-shirt. And then I think about people like, Justin Timberlake, not this dude, Magic Don Juan, not my guy. So keep it simple. You want to be overwhelming versus underwhelming, right? If you're not sure how to dress. So one thing that I do like that Danny has we all dress up when we come to meetings. I guess I'm wearing a button down polo or whatever, but you want to be overwhelming versus underwhelming, right? The guy on the left, I would want to work for before I work for this guy with his baggy shirt and floppy collar. It's collar stays. If you guys don't know what collar stays are, they probably cost, I don't know, $5, $10 for a good pair of collar stays. You can get a pair of metal collar stays for like $10, but then your collar will never go Scarface on you and look like this. So we don't want to avoid that as much as possible. It's the small details, right, ladies? Attention's in the details. So little things, you got the pocket square there, or you got a scarf, or you got a little pop of color with a belt. So small little details make a big difference versus trying to do the big things. Keep it simple and suggestive and kind of just really subtle. That makes a big difference. And then last thing, boys, upgrade your shave. I know where most of you are in life is you maybe now just getting facial hair for the first time and you want to let it grow. Look, a patchy, scratchy, scruffy beard is not a good look, especially if you're trying to recruit somebody that doesn't scream, this guy is mature, with that sweet patch on his neck of 3 pieces of hair. Clean it up. It'll come in eventually, but that's not a good look to have right now. When you can have a beard like this man, Mr. Daniel Craig, that's a good look. A little salt and pepper up in there, starting right here. Anyway, then your physical environment. Everything should be neat and organized. I believe every poster should be framed. That's just my personal belief, or at least laminated at the very low end. Do things look cheap? I ask myself that often. What is the energy in the office? If it's low, what can you do to do that? I often ask myself in this situation, what can I do to make this more fun for myself first, so then I can make other people have more fun as well too. And I think we did a really good job this summer of creating an environment that was fun and everyone was having fun on a constant basis, and that's why people kept coming around. But that was constantly a thing, like, how do we make this fun? How do I incorporate fun into this meeting or this interview or this activity, so I'm having fun first so other people will have fun? And how I look at that is the people that are going to enjoy what I enjoy are the people that I want to stick around. If someone really doesn't find what I do fun, that person probably isn't a great fit for the organization anyway, and I'm okay with that, right? I just want to be really transparent and authentic to who I am, and so I have to act that way first. And is there anything else that could throw up a red flag? So, go through your office, go through whatever situation you're in, and just make sure it's consistent with what you're trying to create. And that's what I have to say on those particular things. I believe what we're going to do right now is we're going to role play the pre and the post. And this is something that, again, it's not just the words. If you remember what we talked about we talk about this in training, that 7% of what you say is the words. So really 7% of the words on the pieces of paper that they're going to give you here in a second is what matters. 38% is tonality, right? And then 55% is body language. So really the words are just kind of a guideline of what you want to say, but you want to like learn how to make it your own and really how to create it so that you can really be authentic when asking these questions to get the responses you want. But I'll let you guys get going. Enjoy the rest of your day. Go Bucky. Have a good day, guys.